let's just get this over with.
This movie follows an alien race called the Boov, known for their expertise in running away, and specifically running away from their arch-nemesis, the Gorg. The Boov move from planet to planet, searching for a new home hidden from the Gorg, and the newest planet the Boov attempt to make their own is Earth. They invade the planet, relocating all humans to Australia and taking over the rest of it for themselves. Our protagonist is O, voiced by Jim Parsons.
You know those situations where the character is just so well voice acted that the actor just disappears? This is not one of those situations. O is clearly Jim Parsons, and you will never stop hearing Jim Parsons.
O attempts to throw a housewarming party, but no one in his building likes him, so his solution is to send an invite to everyone, and this somehow translates to everyone in the galaxy, including the Gorg. Why is that an option? Because he manages to endanger his entire species, O becomes a rebel with absolutely every Boov trying to catch and kill him. During his attempts to escape, he runs into one human who was skipped over in the invasion, Gratuity Tucci, or Tip, who was separated from her mother when the Boov came and has lived in her apartment with her cat Pig ever since. Pig is the best character in this movie because he doesn't talk. Alright, to be fair, Tip is also not too bad. It's mainly O that annoys the crap out of me. O makes a deal with Tip, agreeing to fix her car and take her to France where the Boov headquarters is, so that she can locate her mom, so long as she lets him ride along, all the while planning to double-cross her.
Oh, but spoilers, they do eventually become friends.
What is it about aliens in outer space and family movies? You have near limitless possibilities, but more often than not, all creativity is sucked out for the same tired, recycled plot point.
I love outer space. I find it extremely interesting, and I love games, shows, and movies that have an intergalactic setting.
There's so much potential with aliens because you can literally do anything with them. And what do kids in family movies do? The same things again and again and again. And the ones that don't are few and far between. But hey, the Boov are different from most aliens in family movies. They aren't little blue or green men. They're little purple men. And they're invading our planet and experiencing our culture and getting it hilariously wrong. Totally different.
They have the opportunity to create a completely different culture, and all they wind up doing with it is making them talk a little weird and they don't know what bikes are.
We've had successful animated fantasy films. Hell, Dreamworks themselves created one of my favorite animated fantasy films. Why is it that sci-fi goes so horribly most of the time if you try to put a family spin on it?
I remember the short that advertised this movie. I think it was in front of the Peabody and Sherman film, and I remember being wary of a whole film based on this short because, honestly, it didn't do anything for me.
Don't get me wrong, short films are hard. You have a very limited amount of time to make a connection with your audience. In a lot of ways, shorts are probably more difficult to get right than something longer because there's no room for error. But it can be done very well, and when it is done well, it can leave an impression. Pixar's been doing it for years. Disney has a good handful of them now. There are game studios that do it successfully, even for games I don't really care about.
But I tried to keep an open mind. I really did. I mean, I thought, okay, so Dreamworks isn't great at making shorts. So Jim Parsons seems like the marketable choice. So all the trailers seem pretty par for the course. This is Dreamworks. They're one of the biggest studios out there. They aren't like these other guys. How bad can this be?
It's pretty much as forgettable as the short, but with a really annoying, often unlikable main character voiced by Jim Parsons. Now, I don't hate Big Bang Theory as passionately as a lot of people I know. I watched it for a bit and then I stopped watching it and now I don't really care. Couldn't tell you if it's still on air or how many episodes there are, but Jim Parsons is not a good choice to voice the main character. I mean, the writing is pretty average regardless, but I don't know, maybe a professional voice actor could have at least made this character slightly less annoying. As it is, it's just Sheldon voicing an alien. Even if you replace Parsons, though, the movie doesn't really offer anything beyond average. The jokes are meh, and the overall plot is cliche. It's a predictable movie with predictable outcomes and predictable obstacles, and there is a death fake out naturally. The only thing that's kind of different is the twist with the Gorg, but I don't know, I saw it coming. Still, it could have been a fun twist if the writing were better and we weren't focusing on 6 million other things. Speaking of which, the ending, apart from being predictable, is all over the place. In the span of 10 to 15 minutes, the main character abandons Tip. Everyone who originally hated him suddenly like him because of a bit of Gorg machinery he finds. Boy, these guys run hot and cold. He becomes the new leader and then returns to Tip.
Was this really the only way you could think of for him to get a hold of that scepter?
Well, I'm not going to try and think of all of the ways this movie should have been edited down, but methinks there should have been a cut or two in there. At the very least, save the scene where everyone accepts O for the end of the film when it's slightly more warranted. You know, when there's a good reason to overthrow their leader. As it is, it breaks up the flow of the film and winds up coming off as contrived. I did not buy this sudden shift in affection from any of these characters, and I certainly didn't buy that they would want him as their leader. And honestly, that's my biggest problem with the film. Not the clumsy writing, although that is a problem, but the fact that a lot of the emotional scenes felt hollow to me. They felt safe and marketable, like there wasn't a lot of passion behind them. Like they were ticking off boxes and had to make sure that they got all of these moments in the film before it ended.
You get a 4. You're not the worst movie I've seen, you're slightly below average. So, you get a 4. And you know what, DreamWorks? It's fine. It's my fault. It's my fault because I expected better from you.
You had your successes, some of which rivaled and surpassed films made by some of the greatest animation studios of all time. And I thought, DreamWorks has finally crawled out from under its less than stellar origins and it's coming into its own. And here you are, still making these average marketable films with whoever the popular actor is at the time, selling yourself off to Comcast, making Shrek 5, and what? Another attempt to beat Disney? Did you ever care about the movies you were making? I mean, Disney and Pixar are by no means perfect. Pixar is going a little sequel crazy themselves these days, and it is concerning. But they have John Lasseter, who does seem to care about the movies he's making.
I'm sorry, I am getting off topic. More than anything, what this movie has made me realize is that DreamWorks hasn't changed at all. And I'm back to expecting nothing from them. I don't get any enjoyment out of this. I don't like disliking a studio or the movies they make. Healthy rivalries are good. Studios that push one another to do better are good. I would much prefer awesome movies from awesome studios. It is way more fun to love animated films, and it makes for much better variety. But the DreamWorks way, it doesn't work. You have to be passionate about more than money. I'm the Animated Heroine, and I'm honestly kind of depressed now.